into Carlisle when I was a kid.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cute.
What's that one where she was showing her back? Heaven
the
is a
video?
place on earth. Remember that video? Yeah. Friday Night Videos. I was rocking
Friday
out.
Night Videos. Midnight Special.
I was rocking out with Friday Night Videos. Pat Blassie from Altair Travel is joining us. Altair Travel is a travel agency right there on Brentwood Boulevard, right next to O.B. Clark's. It is the world headquarters for one of the greatest travel agencies the world has ever seen. Good morning, Pat Blassie.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi,
We're
Pat
doing
Blassie.
good.
How are you, Kelly?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
We're fast approaching our trip.
We are fast approaching, and I'm so excited. And you know what? Also, our document. Did you get your Evite?
No, I don't know if I was invited.
Oh, McGraw.
Really, McGraw?
April 10th, from what I understand.
Oh, yes, you got it.
Oh,
Right?
Sherry, I got a text from Sherry. I haven't gotten the Evite yet.
Well, no, you should have gotten the Evite.
All right,
Your
well.
name's all over it. But I'm so excited because this is our inaugural event at our new
yes.
add-on at our office. For our listeners, Altair has expanded. We're going against the trend. You know, everything in our world today is doing it very techy, doing it all by yourself,
Right.
Going on your computer, no personal interaction. But we're going the opposite. We want you to come to our office. So we've created, and like our event with McGraw for our trip to Italy, like I don't want to call it a conference facility because actually, you know what? We're calling it the living room. That's what we're calling it. We're inviting everyone to come to our living room. And it's right next to, it joins our office, and it's a place for you and your friends if you're planning a trip to, you know, everybody come in. Let's sit down and talk about your trip.
Sure.
We're going to have a little kitchen. We're going to have a little bar, like our document party for McGraw's trip to Italy. Everybody's invited to come to our office, and we're going to, normally we go out to a restaurant and it's noisy and it's hard to talk. We can just relax and get to know each other. So I want you to come by and see it, McGraw, but don't come today because they're finishing up some floors today. So I want to wait till it's
Sure.
totally finished. It's just going to knock your socks off.
So we will be christening the room April 10th,
You're
in other words.
christening the room. It's
Yeah.
our inaugural.
You showed me this when you just first started the idea.
Oh, did I show you?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
you've got a couple little conference rooms in there, and then you've got this big giant room where the kitchen's going to be, and I'm sure it's going to be able to sort of configure it any which way you need it, if it's a big group or a small group. But it's a great idea. It's sort of keeping in what you do, which is creating friendships, right? And these groups.
It's all about relationships
Yeah.
and knowing your client.
Right.
That's our world today. We want to. How can you service someone when you don't know how they like to be serviced?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all about that.
and you know, these document parties, some people might roll their eyes and say, well, what's the big deal? You're just going to pick up the documents. But it's a chance for everybody to meet everybody. And then by the time you get to the airport, you will have already have had a pleasant experience with these people. And
you know what? And everybody's got questions. Everybody wants to talk about their trip.
Right.
The other thing we're doing, I'll just throw it out there now, it's not actually written in stone. Well, it is in stone. I just don't know the date. But if any listener has a question about river cruising, we're going to do River Cruising 101 at Altair. And we're going to invite, you know, whoever wants to come. We're going to have 2 or 3 sessions. And this is the type of thing we're going to do. Educational, we're going to bring in tourist boards. We're going to bring in cruise lines. We're going to bring in just a variety of people who can impart knowledge about travel.
Right.
And so if anyone's interested in hearing about river cruising, call me. Just leave a message on my voicemail and give me your name and email address, and I'll make sure you get invited.
No, it's a great idea, and it's a great way. As more and more, as we wall ourselves off from society, we need places like this where we can come together, enjoy each other's company, and sort of share a moment together.
Well, everything's so impersonal.
Yes.
You know what? I just,
No, you're absolutely right.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait to get personal with you, McGraw, on our trip.
Hey, how do you do?
When is the trip again?
When is the trip? When am I going? It's May. It's early May. I know that.
It's May the 10th.
Oh, okay.
May the 10th. Yeah.
Right.
May the 10th.
And we fly to Venice, and we overnight in Venice for a day, and do a reef tour of Venice, and then we board the Windsurf, this beautiful sailing ship that carries 360 people, and then we sail up the Grand Canal, or out the Grand Canal, whatever you want to say it, and then we're sailing along the coast of Yugoslavia, Croatia, excuse me. And we're going to ports in Croatia, and the major port there is Dubrovnik, which is one of the most unbelievable cities. It'll just blow your mind when you see it. It's unbelievable walled city sitting right on the sea. And from there we go to Montenegro, which is this little tiny country that sits right between Croatia and Italy. And then we go to Sicily, and we visit Sicily for a day. And then we go over to everybody's favorite, Italy, the Amalfi Coast for a day. And then we end up in Rome. And then we had like icing on the cake. We were supposed to leave right away.
Yes.
When we ended in Rome, because the airlines changed our air schedule. We're going to overnight in Rome. And so everyone's going to have a chance to explore that unbelievable city. So
yes,
it's going to be fabulous.
Now you mentioned, you were very kind, and you were somewhat sheepishly left out the part. You mentioned the Windstar ship. What did you call it? What was the name of the ship?
Windsurf.
The Windsurf, otherwise known as the Altair corporate yacht that is stationed in the Mediterranean. Yes. From what I understand, this is the Altair corporate yacht with all of the amenities. So we are looking forward to that.
I can only say, the Windstar cruise line has, the Windsurf is their largest ship, and it's a sailing ship. But then they have two smaller ships, and they only carry like 140 people. This is actually one of my most I bet I've probably sailed 10 times on their ships, because I love cruising. I love every kind of cruising. Don't get me wrong. Every type of ship out there, if it's the right ship for you, is wonderful. But I love the intimacy, and you are right on the water. And it's not that there's anything wrong with Windjammer. It has its place out there, and Windjammer is actually where you're sometimes working the sails, and it's like the old time sailing ships. This is the modern sailing ship. The sails are automated, all done with technology. They're quiet. It has its own power too. So if there's no wind, we're still going to be able to go. We won't be just sitting in the harbor.
Well, with me, there's always a lot of hot air around, so it won't be.
You're going to say that again.
I heard they were counting on that.
Yes, clearly. Altair Travel and Cruises, right next to O.B. Clark's on Brentwood Boulevard. Call 314-968-9600. But don't call today, because she has some flooring put in, so call tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. No, they can call today. I'll be there. Just don't come by today.
Okay, fair enough. Pat, have a good week. Thanks.
Bye.